everybody, it's Claire from Girvan Library here, and today we are going to look at another author recommendation. And the author that we are going to look at, who wrote all of these lovely books here that you can get through South Ayrshire Libraries, is Jodi Picoult. Now the reason we're going to look at this author is because these books are what you read when you want a page turner, when you want to dive into a book and be immersed in the narrative, when you want to feel as if you know the characters because they're so well written. It's the book you read that makes you read another chapter and another chapter when you should be sleeping, and then at the end of the book you're exhausted because you've been so involved in the narrative and the characters. Now the reason that they are so immersive is because Jodi Picoult takes her characters and puts them usually in some kind of moral dilemma, and it's usually very closely related characters. It's usually mother-daughter or brother-brother, sister-sister. Sometimes it's best friend, but it is usually family-centred drama. But the moral dilemmas are not your everyday moral dilemmas. They are unique and they are fascinating and intriguing, and you will then think, what would I do in these situations? The kind of recurring question that you would ask yourself reading Jodi Picoult is, how far would I go? If I was in this situation and this happened to me and it was my child, how far would I go? Or if it was my brother that was accused of murder, what would I do? So for example, in 19 Minutes, we have Peter, our main protagonist, who goes on a school shooting rampage that lasts 19 minutes. And you straight away think, he's the villain, I know what's going on here, okay, right, I know this narrative, I know how it's going to go. But then we find out there's always multiple narrative viewpoints in all these books. You're going to see the whole scenario, you're not just going to get a stuck viewpoint. But then we find out he's been viciously, psychologically and physically bullied his whole life, and he's basically just reached boiling point and he goes after the bullies. You then get the viewpoint of his mother Lacey, who loves him so much, and how could I not have seen it? You know, it raises a question, how much do we see when we actually look at our close family? You don't see the internal life, you don't see the inner world of children and what they're actually feeling. So it just raises questions, and it's not a black or white, it's not right or wrong, it's somewhere in between. And my viewpoint on it will be completely different from somebody else's viewpoint, and that's the beauty of it. Another example, in Handle with Care, we have Willow, who is 5 I think, and she's got brittle bone disease, really serious, and her mother is looking at serious financial, medical bills and how's she going to pay them, how's she going to be able to look after her daughter and get her the medical care that she needs. And the opportunity arises for her to go to court and sue her obstetrician for the sum, because her obstetrician should have told her to terminate. But that happens to be her best friend Piper. So do you ruin your best friend's career? Do you stand up in front of a court and in front of the world and say, I would have terminated my daughter if I'd known she had this condition? She wouldn't have, she completely adores her daughter. That's not the dilemma. The dilemma is, would you do that to secure your daughter's medical future? So there is no right or wrong in a lot of them. It's just areas of grey, and it's where you come down on the areas of grey. And it makes you think, what would I do? And that is central to all of the books. That's the kind of theme that runs through them all. Now the other beautiful thing about Jodi Picoult is her research. She is meticulous, and there are lots of different areas of her books, not all of them, some of them are just set in a village or a town, but there are some that have like a wolf pack in Lone Wolf, and a man who kind of lives with them, Luke, and how he interacts with them. You have an elephant sanctuary in Leaving Time. You've got an Amish family in The Plain Truth, and these areas are researched completely flawlessly. With Plain Truth, Jodi Picoult went and lived with an Amish family for a week on a dairy farm. So it's completely accurate. For Leaving Time with the elephants, she went and spent time in Botswana at an elephant sanctuary, speaks to the experts, it gets to the realism of it, and that comes through in the books. So although you might have these unique situations that you're not really going to be in, you can completely believe in them because they're so well researched. And that way you can focus on the actual dilemmas that the characters are facing. So if you want a page turner, If you want to think, if you want to be challenged, read one of these books. If you do like Jodi Picoult already, then try Diane Chamberlain, try Alice Hoffman, or try something else. There's loads in the libraries. Bye for now.